Good morning. I am so glad you found your way here. My name is Erin. I am your balanced bodywork business mentor, and I'm so excited that you found your way to this class. So, this is going to be a quick and dirty session, and this is going to be for you if you are finding yourself on the verge of burnout because your schedule is super busy and packed. And we all know, yes, it's a wonderful problem to have. We're so grateful. We love all of our clients. We've worked so hard to get here. That can all be true. And we can also want a little more simplicity, more ease, more leverage in our business. These are okay things to have simultaneously. So let's get that permission out of the way and let's just make that super clear. It's okay to be grateful for where you are and to still want a little bit more balance because in the long run, we know as experienced massage therapists that if we are not creating the time and the space and the systems that support us for long term, we will be headed for burnout. So, having a full schedule is a beautiful blessing, and we are so super grateful. And here's what to do about it when you find yourself in a place where your schedule feels like it's taking over your life a little bit. So, if you're new around here, my name is Erin. I am based in Aurora, Colorado. I've been in practice since 2011 and run my own business since then as well. I specialize in pain relief and posture correction primarily. I do run a clinic and I have run the gamut in terms of experience of running a business. So we won't get into that. If y'all have been following me for more than 4.5 seconds, you know a little bit about my story. So I'm really happy to be here. I have been helping massage therapists to simplify, to grow, and to scale their massage practices since 2021. And I am loving this experience of getting to meet therapists to help them simplify, to help them build systems, to help them get in tune with their own body, their own needs, and to really deeply, fully, holistically prioritize themselves and to start building a profitable, beautiful, sustainable long-term business that supports them instead of just the other way around. So creating and having a schedule that supports you, and even when it's full, knowing exactly what to do and how to manage that is a big part of this process. Nobody talks about what to do once you get fully booked. Nobody talks about what needs to be done or what systems need to be in place or what actions need to be taken once you're fully booked. Being fully booked is the dream for most therapists. And again, we love it. It's great. Yes, of course. We're super grateful to be here. But what I've seen over the years is that a lot of therapists need some support for what to do then, especially if they want to stay, if you want to stay a solopreneur, you don't necessarily want to hire or scale. That's all good. Like, let's talk about how to stay sustainably booked without burning out, even when you want to stay on your own. So I'm going to pull up my notes here. Okay, so first and foremost, something I have noticed over time as I've gotten really booked out, I'm booked out about 6 weeks right now, and I just raised my rates 3 months ago. So, first of all, I do want to say that raising your rates, I always do it as a way to try and triage my clientele and to reduce my workload, and it never works. I am weird animal noises, constantly finding myself in a place where my rates are raised and it also increases demand at the same time. I'm not telling you to not raise your rates, just don't expect it to actually reduce your workload. This is a huge misconception massage therapists have. I want you to raise your rates, and I also want you, especially if you're in this position that we're talking about today, to be able to reduce your workload in a way that feels sustainable, that feels ethical, and it feels supportive for you. So something I have noticed as I've gotten super fully booked is that I get new clients from all of my marketing methods that have these marketing methods have really taken on a life of their own. And it's like a runaway train a little bit, which is beautiful and great. Again, so grateful. Let's just stop saying that because we're all on the same page about that. I love where I'm at. Um, but these marketing efforts have to be reconsidered when we are in this position. We'll get to that in just a moment. But what ends up happening when the marketing and the all of the client getting methods are working really well is that people will book that 6 weeks out and then they might cancel or reschedule their appointment. because there's not really a lot of skin in the game right then and there. Really, all they have is like a card on file, right? Because you're doing that, right? Of course you are. So, what I have learned to do over the years, and this is going to ruffle a few feathers, I think, but if you really want to stay booked, reduce your marketing and your advertising load and financial responsibility, what you need to be doing is developing that relationship as soon as you see that a new client books, particularly if it's more than 2 weeks out. So, what I recommend doing is actually reaching out to them directly, sending them a text message, offering them an invitation to a call. This can be incredibly short. Hey, Jeff, just wanted to reach out because I noticed you scheduled for July 22nd, and I'm so excited to see you on the schedule. So I know that's a long ways out, and I want to make sure that not only you're getting the best treatment possible when you're coming in, but also that you feel supported in the meantime. So if you want, tell me a little bit about what's going on. What had you reach out to me in the first place? How is this impacting your everyday life? Important question. And I want to give you some exercises, stretches, techniques, something to help you feel better in the meantime. So this is something no other practice around you is doing. I can pretty much guarantee it because a lot of therapists will throw this in the trash and they'll say, I don't have time to do a consultation. I don't want to spend time on the phone. They're already booked. What's the big deal? My marketing and my advertising is already working for me. So if they fall off the schedule, who cares? And I'm telling you right now, this is a recipe for churn, particularly if there's not a lot of skin in the game for this new client. So reducing, literally financially reducing your advertising spend can be impacted from this. This can impact your advertising spend quite directly because if you're maintaining those clients, even as they're booked 2 to 6 weeks out or whatever, you're not having to go find new clients. You're reducing the churn, you're reducing the attrition, and you're increasing your retention. So please take this super seriously. Invite these people to a quick, I'm talking like 10, 15 minutes, okay? Text them with some exercises. Maybe you take a little custom video for them, like these are 3 exercises that are really going to help you get through. I want you to be walking around the block every day. I want you to be getting some heat on that hip. Whatever it is that you know is going to be super supportive for them to get through until they're able to see you. This positions you as the complete expert. It positions you as someone who genuinely cares because you do. And this client is not just another number. And it also builds the rapport immediately before they even come into the office. So they're more likely to stay with you anyway. So take this one seriously. Book those 10 to 15-minute calls for new clients, especially if they're booked out really far. Okay. So let's talk about time for yourself. I want to address that because that's a huge part of creating balance in your schedule. She has to make a little cameo, doesn't she? So what I want you to do, especially if you're booked out, so I'm like booked out 6 weeks, right? And normally what I do is take 1 week off a month just to focus on coaching, consulting, to focus on self-care, to focus on my relationships, my friends, my hobbies. This is a habit I've gotten into and my business is set up for that. I'm not saying you have to do that necessarily, and it totally depends on your needs, your capacity, your financial situation, and what you feel good to do, right? So I'm not saying to do that, but what I want you to do is look a couple weeks ahead and I want you to take some time off. I want you to block off 3 to 4 days without any clients, right? Without any agenda. You're not scheduling a trip in this time. You're not packing in a whole bunch of networking events. You're not cramming in a whole bunch of other work. I want this to just be some free, what I affectionately call fuck off time, right? This is fuck off time. So what this does is creates a little bit of space, not just for you, but it also allows some of your dreams to kind of bubble up to the surface. If we are so crammed with our clients all the time and so focused on maintaining the incredible business that we have, which we love, right? Like that's a great, amazing thing. Then we tend to forget about our longer term dreams. And I know a lot of y'all want to start a school. A lot of y'all want to go to yoga teacher training. A lot of y'all want to start doing online services. A lot of y'all want to start health coaching. So we need that space. This is called CEO time, right? Because CEOs are dreamers, they are schemers, they are in their head, they are making up ideas, they are super, super inspired all the time. I know that's you because I've talked to so many of you in this position. We have to give some space to those dreams. And the universe, literally, energetically, physically, does not love a vacuum. So when there is that space, you allow a lot of that vision and that long-term dream to start to bubble up to the surface. And you might be surprised at what shows up in terms of inspiration and your next steps. So I want you to look ahead to the next 3 to 4 weeks And you don't need to cancel clients or anything like that, but I do want you to block off 3 to 4, maybe even 5 days. That's just exclusively for you. Okay, super, super important. Okay, and on more of a logistical level, I want you to have your wait list up and running. So I use Square. I'm not, I am married to it. Actually, I love it so much, but I'm not telling you that's what you have to use. I want you to have some sort of automated wait list system. So you're able to take your brain off of those last minute cancellations, those last minute availabilities. I don't want you to be worrying about it. That is not a CEO vibe. That is not where your energy needs to be going. And instead, what I want you to be focusing on is building relationships with your current clients and also just, the maintenance of your busy, beautiful booked business and also that free time for yourself. Um, you do not need, I just got a new booking for August. It is June 11th. That's crazy. I don't want you to be focusing on the minutia of this stuff. I want you to be creating space for your dreams and for your own self-care. Okay. So have some sort of automated wait list. If you're using an online booking system, if you're using Square, please look into it. It's gorgeous. It is so seamless. It allows people to receive notifications for specific availabilities that open up that you get to set. You can also offer different availabilities. If they're going to be on vacation, then you can offer before and after times. It's really beautiful. They've done a great job. But there's a good chance that if you're using a booking software, I've noticed it's way more common now to have that automated waitlist feature. So that's going to take a lot of um, the last minute availabilities, the last minute openings off your plate. Because the last thing I want you to do is to be looking around and to be texting a whole bunch of people, or even necessarily when you're at this phase and stage of business, I don't necessarily want you to be sending out those emails for last minute availability. That is not CEO activity. Okay. So get your waitlist up and running, automated and ready. And this is one of the most powerful systems I have to remove the guesswork and the mental labor of rescheduling. Okay. Even when I'm super, super busy. So when a client cancels and they don't reschedule, just be sure to put them on the wait list automatically. That's like your first next step. So they get notified about upcoming availabilities and you don't have to worry about it, right? So, and nobody falls through the cracks. Okay. And it's all automated. You need this to be all automated. So like, don't play around with thinking, I can do this on my own. I'll just text my clients. No, you won't, sweetheart. You're seeing 5 to 6 clients a day or whatever it is. You need to be offloading as much of this as you possibly can. I just got another booking for August. We love this. So, don't mess around with that. Make sure it's all automated so you don't have to worry about it. This removes so much of the guesswork. In the Balanced Biz community, the systems and the automation, delegation, and elimination of things off of your to-do list and off of your beautiful brain is one of the primary focuses of helping you create something super sustainable. And this is one of those baby steps, especially when you're super fully booked. Okay. Um, okay, great. So this is something I actually came into. This is next up. This is something I came into that was rather surprising. So I noticed I was spending about, and this is okay, this is what I've been spending for a very long time, about $1,000 a month on Google advertising, which has been super wildly effective. And when I'm booked out 6 weeks, that's not where my money needs to be going. That's not where my focus needs to be going. So take a look at your advertising spend. I actually just cut one of my ads altogether. I picked one of those campaigns that's doing really well, and we're just going to keep that running on maintenance mode. So I still get an influx of clients, but I'm not like wasting the money because a lot of people are going to be clicking on the Google ads or the meta ads, whatever you've got going in terms of paid advertising, and they're going to be going to your website and they're going to see that you're booked out 6 weeks. I'm not going to book. So you're still paying for all that, but they're not booking and you're not making that money back. Okay, so I've cut my advertising expenditure in half because I'm booked out so far. So take a look at that. Make sure everything's really streamlined and effective. Continue asking for referrals in person because referrals are more likely to wait it out. There's already some sort of relationship there. They trust the person who referred you to them. So keep that in mind also, like kind of shifting into those more offline marketing tactics can be a great way to maintain that sustainability, build some more relationships, of course, increase your impact in the community, but also reducing some of that ad spend. Okay. Um, blah, blah, blah. Yes. Okay. So here's some really powerful techniques also that no one really talks about. So something I would love for you to start considering, especially if you are super booked and you want to start creating some leverage, is to create a premium service. So instead of just adding more appointments to your schedule, which is probably not something that's an option for you, like right now, there's no way I could add more appointments to my schedule. I want you to think about increasing the value of some of your appointments. So a therapist seeing 25 clients a week might replace three regular sessions with a specialized service that generates the same revenue. So when you're scaling back your schedule, if that's something you decide to do and you add in the premium services, you're not actually losing income. Okay. There's a really good chance you're going to expand the amount of money you're earning. Okay. And working less. This is literally how we do this. Your schedule is not going to get busier, but it's going to feel a hell of a lot lighter. Okay. So this service has to solve a bigger problem, right? Not just be like a longer massage. We don't want that. The premium service has to be very outcome, specifically outcome and benefit oriented for a very specific audience. And it needs to be something that's priced at even up to 3 times your existing rate. This needs to be a very exclusive service. It needs to be extremely high value, and it needs to be positioned in a way that is just for a very small slice of your clientele. This is something I help tons of therapists with every single day in the Balanced Biz community, and we create systems around it so it's easy to sell, it's easy to position, it's easy to create, and you have a process to rinse and repeat. So anytime you need extra dollars in your pocket, you've got a premium service you can whip out and you know exactly how to sell, right? This is what we do. I also want you to be building recovery weeks into your calendar. Okay, this is similar to the fuck off weeks, frankly. So yes, we want you to be building in your recovery weeks, looking out really far, and want you to start thinking about where your schedule gets to support you, even if that means scaling back your availability. I have recently scaled back my availability. I cut 4 90-minute sessions off my calendar so I could do things like this for you. So that's not recovery, although I did do yoga at 6 this morning. But you want to start thinking about where your recovery time can fit into your schedule or where the space needs to be made. Start looking ahead to that, because if you're already in demand, there's a really good chance that if you keep going at the super fully booked pace and you just start to plateau a little bit, it's going to be exhausting. This where you're at is probably not super sustainable where it is. Okay. Or at the very least, you're hitting an income ceiling. Okay. So I also want you to think about introducing high value, non hands-on support. Really hear me out here. Okay. So consider something like assessments or movement coaching, maybe breathwork sessions, maybe pain education, self-care planning, accountability check-ins, a little bit of wellness coaching, whatever you feel comfortable with. I know people get really up in arms about that. Whatever's in your scope of practice, whatever feels really good to offer and that you know is going to be ethical and really beneficial, and can be what we call evergreen, where you're not having to do it over and over and over again, but instead you're able to create it once and then you're able to sell it over and over and over again. Okay. Not every solution that your client is looking for is going to require an hour of your time, your effort, and your resources. I'm going to say that again. Not every solution that your clients are looking for requires an hour or more of bodywork. Okay. So consider some of those off the table resources that you could create. And this not only positions you as a really powerful expert that really knows their shit, but it also helps you to build rapport, help your clients get much better results, and create hands-off income. And when this is set up in a way and systemized in a way, particularly with online stuff, where you're able to systemize it and you're not having to do a lot of the grunt work to get it sold, this is what can help provide some of that delicious paid time off that is that elusive challenge for massage therapists, right? So I really want you to start brainstorming how you can create some hands-off income and how that gets to fit into the bigger scheme of your business. This is also something we work on consistently every single day in the Balanced Bodywork Business group, okay? So, let's see here. I also want you to think about diversifying one of your revenue streams. Okay. So think about, and not a whole bunch. Don't try to diversify like 7. Diversify one of your income streams. So consider teaching a workshop, offering a membership, running a group program for self-care. That's something I did that was extremely profitable and probably cost me about maybe if I'm being generous, about 8 hours of my time, or create a specialized follow-up service, right? A lot of us start to feel burnout and exhausted, and our schedule starts to get ahead of us because we're feeling a little bit trapped by the treatment room, right? Even an extra few $100 a month from somewhere else is going to change how you show up to your schedule. So a lot of us are trying to solve our schedule issues by um, doing things that are overly complicated, that aren't necessarily aligned with us, and potentially even just taking off a whole bunch of time for vacation. And that's not entirely effective. And maybe you know that already because you've already tried. So I want you to watch this video as many times as you need. Watch this training, get really, really clear about what it is that you want, what you need, and start to brainstorm the different ways that your schedule gets to support you. Okay. And this is both at a systematic level, this is a strategic level, this is a creative level, this is a self-care level. This requires your boundaries to be rock solid. This requires your time management to be in a place where you are relentless and you know that putting yourself first is serving you, your family, your community, your hobbies, your life. Okay? It's going to require you to be really honest with yourself. It's going to require you to have the stress resilience to be able to face these confronting decisions and stay in touch with your big why, right? To stay in touch with why you started this in the first place. It's going to require you to stay in direct communication with your vision, with your values. And this is why I take the holistic approach to something like a full overbooked schedule. It's not just cut back your schedule and cut your hours and then raise your rates. That is not going to work either. And it's going to send your nervous system into a fucking spiral. Okay. Ask me how I know. Instead, what we want to do is address the nervous system component with the self-care aspects. We want to make sure you're still earning more money, right? Which is going to help the nervous system as well. And we want to make sure that you're actively taking intentional, deliberate, conscientious time off. This is what makes the difference for you. Okay. So let me know what you think about this video. If you want more support, if you want to be surrounded by people who are doing the same thing and they are actively in it and they are focusing on this stuff every single day, this is going to be the room for you. The Balance Biz community is going to be the room for you to change things for good on your terms for the rest of your career. So let me know what you take from this. If you're curious about the Balance Biz community, please feel free to reach out with any questions. And in the comments of this video or in the module of this training, I'll make sure to add some details about that too, so you can get some more information. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you soon.